So what's happening, guys? It's been a minute since you've seen us. I think the last time we were conversating was the Resole documentary, What's Next, talking about moving into the Brixton hub, talking about actually having our place. Well, guys, we're finally here. And we've been here for a while. We want to show you around.
Don't be afraid. After the darkness is light. So don't you be afraid. When it comes the long night. Long night.
Yeah, what's happening? What's happening? You saying in the building, yeah?
Talk to me, talk to me.
We're here, man. Finally, it's been a minute that I've been trying to get you down here and just talk to the community, man. I just really wanted to kind of give a message to the Resole community and in terms of where we are, what we're doing. I think the last time we were able to get behind the camera together, or you behind it and me in front of it, was the documentary What's Next. Since that screening, and since coming out of lockdown last year in April, so we're basically a year away from that, it's just been a hectic ride. A lot has happened, we're grateful for, but it's also been a turbulent time for the community as a whole and for the country and for the world. Like coronavirus and the pandemic, affected everybody on the planet, and it was difficult. And it was a difficult time for us, and I think as a new organization, as a, charity, I feel like we came across, some difficulties that made us rise and go to another level. And through that, it kind of, allowed us to be who we are today. It kind of gave us the strength to kind of really embody why we're here, why we're giving, and why we're trying to make a difference in the community.
That's cool, man. That's cool. So, from the last year, what would you say in terms of achievements and goals? What has been met, and what are you most proud of in that last year?
I think it's difficult to pin it down on one thing, but some of the highlights last year to me, which were many, but one of the strongest ones I think was having Baroness Doreen down here at the village for Stephen Lawrence Day, because it was so early on in coming out of lockdown. It was basically the first thing that we'd done, announcing ourselves to the community, and to kind of celebrate Stephen Lawrence Day here with Baroness and the whole team. I think it was something quite special, because I think a lot of people from my era growing up, remembering the death of Stephen and him being murdered, it just wasn't a death, that he was actually murdered. I feel like then being in a situation where so long after that, I have an organisation and I'm working with his mother to bring around good and to remember and to remind ourselves what took place on that day and how we can kind of have a positive impact on our communities moving forward. I think that was a special moment for me, and I think it was a time where it brought my team together, and it was, it was a happy moment for me to remember with so many great things happening. But I feel like last year we had so many great activations with different organisations that kind of really put us in a good stead.
So talk to me about what you've done in terms of developing the hub. Since the last time we've done the filming of the documentary, you hadn't even started building the hub. A lot of it was just empty, and there was boxes in here, and there was a blue, window covers. So speak to me a little bit about the hub. How are you feeling about the hub now, where it's got to?
To be honest, the hub before we actually got here was a wig store. It had been here for some 30 odd years. It was a pillar of the community, this location that we're in. So for us to be able to take over such a location within the village that had a massive significance to the community here and had been serving the Brixton community for over 30 years, I think it was a special transition to where we are today. And I feel like the journey was difficult because, again, we were in lockdown, But the guys that we had on the team that we had here, doing the job, shout them out. They were the Wilkins. They were good at what they done. They made it easy for us to kind of work with the plans and how we wanted it to look, and them seeing it through. And also there was times where we had to change a couple of things around. But in and all, within the space that we have and how we're able to utilize it as a hub, and we wanted it to be a hub for the community to come here, especially the young people who come to receive trainers with their parents. We wanted them to come to a space where they felt that they came to a sneaker store. We never wanted it to be those charity shops that you see on the high street where kids have peer pressure of not wanting to be seen in there. Like growing up, I didn't want to be seen in no charity shop with my parents, you know what I'm saying? That was the last thing I wanted to be seen, was in a charity shop. So we didn't want any young person to have that stigma if they had to visit Resole for whatever reason it was, you know, with their parents to come pick up a pair of trainers. And I think we've been able to create that environment where, you know, anyone that comes in here or visits us are always asking, are you lot selling trainers? Are you cleaning trainers? And what is it that you do? The last thing that they think we do is actually give them away. So it's always a surprise for them to know that, the work that you lot are doing is immense, and we commend you on that, and you know, we celebrate you, and how can we be a part of that? So I think the hub is actually, you know, it's kind of surpassed, you know, my dreams and what I thought it was going to actually be, man.
So talk to me about Brixton a little bit, you know, coming from where you've come from, the people you know, the environments you know. What does it mean coming to a place like Brixton and being a part of this place? Because, you know, last time we spoke about what you're trying to achieve, it hadn't happened yet. So now it's happened, you're in the hub, you're in this environment. How's it been the last year being in Brixton and working in this environment?
It's good to be in Brixton, man, and I feel like Brixton's never been my home per se. I feel like Brixton's only recently become my home since kind of, I would say, embracing Islam and visiting the mosque in Brixton and kind of being a part of that community to an extent. But as a Wharf Road boy, you know, / Peckham, growing up, I couldn't be here. Growing up, being in Brixton wasn't a thing for me. It wasn't a border that I could cross. And I think one of my earliest memories of actually coming to Brixton would have been when they opened up their first Foot Locker, which isn't where it is now, which was on the corner, and actually trying to come here to buy some trainers, because there weren't no Foot Locker in South like that. Foot Locker hadn't actually grown, and I remember coming in and getting into a fight with some of the Brixton kids at the time. So it wasn't a place that I ever thought years from now it will be a working environment for me. You know, I'll be a pillar of the community, serving the community and putting in the work that we do. But I think, you know, on this journey, we've met some great individuals and other organisations that are doing great work in the Brixton community. Some of them you visited with us last time when you came out. We went to the Brixton Soup Kitchen, and you know, we visited Vamp, Sneaker Cleaning, and Cop It, and I feel like there's so many different brands and charity organisations who are about the community and represent the community, and to be one of them as Resole, as a hub, you know, that supplies footwear to kids in Lambeth from free school meals, it's massive. And also last year being able to put on an activation with Arboro and his organisation, Alma. It was great, you know, between us, them, and the department store in Brixton, and having an installation that was all about care and what care meant to young people, and having it in the windows and seeing young kids who live in Brixton who are able to come and see their messages hang up in the window and tell their parents and friends, this is what I done, and making us a part of that. And especially in a time when it was like lockdown and COVID, and we wanted to know what care meant to young people and what it meant to them, because a lot of the time we speak to them and we don't actually hear what they got to say. So that was beautiful. So being a part of that kind of helped us again solidify our true relationship with Brixton. And Brixton's iconic, man. Wherever you go in the world, people know Brixton, you know what I mean? Brixton's like Brooklyn, Harlem, you know, the Bronx, Brixton, you know what I'm saying? So Brixton's got that, and it's always had that, just as Peckham's had that, you know what I'm saying?
Up the stairs backwards, so much biting that my back hurts. Backbiters like mosquitoes. You ain't responsible for wherever he goes. He should know better though, due to what he knows. They wasn't around when we was wearing Moschino. Ghetto fever, kids cartel, Probito. Had the Valentino before the Valentinos. All summer up in Kennet and Black Prince Road. Cousin Lee Boy and Dino. Before Before the Tesco, it was bingo. Before Rocky, it was Rambo. Now these man at era really playing Rambo. It's really real. From Gypsy Hill to Mike's Field, bang bang anywhere gang, looking like the Taliban. It was SMS, OC and PDC. Had the horses out in Egypt on the DVD. Back in 03, the Mashi wasn't lonely. We was about 100.
Faith is an important part of what I do, man. I think it's part and parcel of who I am. I think from the beginning, due to the tabloids, I think the first article that was done in a paper that I remember them doing, it was Muslim man donates shoes to the homeless community. So I feel like if you look at that and how it went early on, it kind of gave the people an insight who I am and what I believe in. And to me, it's part and parcel, man. My prayers allow me to escape. As you can imagine, we're in a difficult space. You know what I'm saying? The world is a mad place. So for me, without prayers, without it allowing me to reset all the time and allowing me to renew my intentions, why I do what I do, and the importance behind it, it will be difficult. Yeah, man, it's an important part, you know, and I wear it on my sleeve, man. You know what I mean? And I don't separate the two with the work that I do. Anyone who is religious, especially Muslim, you understand the importance of charity and giving back and giving to your community, and not just giving anything, but giving from the best of things, giving from the things that you really cherish and appreciate, and sharing that with others is massive. So I think Islam's allowed me to do that, and may it continue to do that for me, man. So yeah, man, it's a massive part of the work that I do and who I am as an individual. And yeah, man, like I said, I wear it on my sleeve, man. Alhamdulillah. I feel like looking at last year and the things that we were able to do, this year it's been a slow start, but an important start, because it's like understanding, you know, our year's worth of operation and what we've been able to achieve. So last year we were in a load of tabloids and magazines, like we done the Face magazine interview that was very good for our organisation and letting people know who we are. At the end of the year, we done an important installation and activation at the Tate. And like the Tate is one of the biggest art galleries / museums in Europe, let alone the UK. And to be able to exhibit there, we've done some work with Mr. Trap Art and putting in an exhibition about sneakers and the impact it has on climate and what we can do to kind of be more sustainable within the industry and what we can do to kind of pass that information on to the next generation. I feel like as an organisation that added another layer of what we need to do to kind of let people understand the impact that footwear has. Footwear is not only a great tool to kind of build communities and bridge the economic gap that we have here in the United Kingdom with the high numbers of homelessness, you know, kids living in poverty, the high amount of numbers of increasing vulnerable adults. I feel like, especially as an organisation that deals readily with the unhoused community, you know, it was important for us to also understand the other aspects that that footwear is actually having on the planet, and the fact that it's, you know, just behind aviation in terms of, you know, like emissions within the atmosphere and stuff like that. I think it was very important for us to understand that, and that exhibition at the Tate put us in a good stead going into this year to understand, okay, Resole, as much as we donate shoes and distribute shoes to people that need it the most, and that's the most vulnerable, but we're also gonna be able to, you know, cipher and share information about the impact that sneakers are having on the climate and having on the planet. And with that, we want to do it with partnerships. We don't want to be at war with the brands and be pointing fingers like Adidas, you need to do more, and Nike, you need to do that, and Puma, you need to do that, and Foot Locker, JD, Block. We don't want to do that. We want to say, okay, we understand there's a problem. How do we all sit on the table and kind of support each other in impacting our community and impacting the climate and impacting the change? And I feel one of the biggest brands that's come out that's kind of stood forward and said, cool, we want to be with you on this journey, has been Foot Locker in Brixton, especially as they've now become a community store and wanting to do things in the community. I think that the initial conversations we've had and plans that we have moving forward are great for me to see, because like I said, the first time I actually remember as a young adult visiting Brixton was to come to a Foot Locker. So now to be here some 20 years later, working with the brand, working with the organisation to bring around change for our community, to me it's beautiful, and it's one of the biggest things that we're looking forward to. And I feel like last year we were able to establish Resole community and what we do for the community work, and I think a big part of this year is to establish Resole product. What are the products that we can put out there that can help us continue the work that we do? So we have some great products that we've been working on that we want to release on our third, annual celebration of us actually being an organisation. Because in this year in June we actually turned 3, and we want to celebrate that with the community, with the sneakerheads, with everyone that's been a part of this journey. And on that night we want to be releasing some fresh products where every time you buy one of these products, it allows us to give 1 or 2 to a homeless person, to a rehoused person, to a person in a situation that needs help. So we've been racking our brains, what are the products we can sell, so that every time we sell 1 or 2 of these products, it allows us to give one out for free. And also allows us to be in this amazing space that we're in and continue this, excellent work that we're doing. So as a team, we're moving forward. We've had our challenges, but we're moving forward, and I'm grateful for that. And I just appreciate the Resole community, because they're like none other, man. Like the type of trainers that they give us always amazes us. You know what I mean? It's always trainers like, I'm like, oh, I can do with those there, You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you get a fresh pair of like Yeezys or Jordans, you're like, oh, is that my size? You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo. And that amazes me, because it lets me know that people are ready to give, man. People are ready to give as well from things that they like, and they're ready to share, and it just gives you that reminder that there's hope out there, man, and there's love in the community, and that spirit is there. So we embody that on our outreaches, and I think the people see us giving the shoes that they give to us straight back out to those that need it the most.
What's your final message wrapping up from this?
I think my final message would be to just, show us the same love you've shown us from the beginning. Continue with that. I think the momentum of support, appreciation and love that we've been shown by the Resole community is very important to us, because there are days where it's cold, there's days when it's dark, there's days when you have your own personal issues, there's days where, the team is like 10 strong, and then there's days when the team's like 2 strong, or sometimes you're on your own doing this work, because it's a difficult space to be in, and it's not easy. It's not an easy space to be in charity, because a lot of the time you're dealing with some of the most vulnerable and impoverished people within our community, and that can sometimes take a psyche or sometimes can impact you and yourself and your own mental space. So I understand sometimes where we have people within the team who kind of pull away, come back, pull away. But as for me as the founder and someone who's pushing behind, I'm always here, always pushing. So having the community behind me, nice words, nice messages, great donations and great support, posting, liking, resharing, all of these things, amount to something massive to me, and I'm always appreciative of the support that we get. So the main message that I'll give the community is that we still need your support, we still need your help, we still appreciate your kind words, we still appreciate you sharing, liking, subscribing and supporting anything that we do, and getting behind us, man, and making sure that Resole is an organisation with our own hard work, and especially your support, we're able to continue doing this amazing work and making a difference. And hopefully we can get to a point in time where everybody in the world has adequate footwear. I don't think we should be living in a world in the year 2022, the Gregorian calendar, where not everyone has access to appropriate footwear. I think that's something, with the amount of shoes getting made, over 30 billion running sneakers every year, enough to go around the planet 300 times, getting made every year, 4 or 5 times the amount of people on the planet, but yet there's so many people that don't have access to a good pair of footwear, an adequate pair of footwear. That shouldn't be happening, and it shouldn't be happening on the watch of this generation. We need to kind of be the changing point and make sure that we say no to this type of rubbish and make a difference. So that's my signing out, man.
Don't be afraid.
So that's us, guys, just keeping you updated to the story and where we are and how you guys can continue supporting us. And we appreciate everything that you've done for us. If you want to come down and donate or just come and have a word with us, you know where we are. We're in Brixton Village, 57 Granfield Arcade. That's our home. Until next time, we out.
And it comes the long night. Long night. Have faith.